The email from my mother arrived on a Wednesday morning at 6:47 a.m. Subject: Reality check. Marcus, your father and I have been patient for 8 years. 8 years of watching you waste your Stanford education on this startup fantasy. Your sister Amanda has a real job. Benefits. Stability. A 401k. She just bought a house. What do you have? An apartment you share with 2 roommates and a business that hasn't made a profit. It's time to grow up. Dad knows someone at Cisco. They're hiring. $140,000 starting. Please, for once in your life, make a smart decision. Mom. I read it twice. Deleted it. Went back to work. I'd stopped defending myself 3 years ago. Stopped trying to explain what DataStream AI was building. Stopped attending family dinners where every conversation ended with concerned looks and helpful suggestions about real careers. My phone buzzed. My older sister. Did you see Mom's email? Yeah, I said. She means well, Marcus. She's just worried. I know. Are you doing okay? Financially. I looked around my office. 19th floor. Downtown San Francisco. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Bay Bridge. Our company logo etched in glass by the elevator. 127 employees. Revenue last quarter, $67 million. I'm doing fine, I said. Because if you need money. I don't need money, Amanda. Hey, just checking. Love you. Love you too. I hung up and stared at my laptop. The Salesforce tower gleamed in the morning sun. My reflection looked tired. I was 34 years old. I'd spent 8 years building something that was about to change enterprise data analytics forever. And my family thought I was failing. The irony was almost funny. Almost. It started when I was 26. Fresh out of Stanford with a master's in computer science. I'd been recruited by Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Offers ranging from $165,000 to $195,000. Stock options. Free food. Ping pong tables. Everything a newly minted tech grad could want. I turned them all down. My roommate from Stanford, Dev Sharma, had an idea. A way to use machine learning to predict data bottlenecks before they crashed systems. It sounded technical. Boring. Unmarketable. It was also brilliant. We started DataStream AI in Dev's garage in Palo Alto. Salary, $0. Funding, $30,000 we'd saved between us. Staff, 2 guys with laptops and ambition. My parents were horrified. You're walking away from Google? Dad said at Sunday dinner. He was an electrical engineer at Lockheed Martin. 41 years at the same company. Pension. Stability. The American dream. To start a business with Dev, I said. What kind of business? Data analytics. Machine learning. Predictive algorithms for enterprise systems. Silence. Mom spoke first. What does that mean in English? We help companies prevent their computer systems from crashing. And people pay for that? They will, I said. Dad shook his head. Marcus, 90% of startups fail in the first year. You're throwing away a 6-figure job at Google to join a statistic. Maybe, I admitted. But if it works. If, Mom interrupted. That's a big if. Amanda graduated a year after you. She took a job at Deloitte. She has health insurance. A retirement plan. She's saving for a house. That's what success looks like. Amanda was sitting across from me. She looked uncomfortable. Mom, I'm sure Marcus knows what he's doing. Does he? Mom looked at me. Do you even have health insurance? Not yet, I said. What if he gets sick? What if this startup thing doesn't work? Then I'll get a job, I said. Companies are always hiring engineers. But that wasn't good enough. Nothing was ever good enough except the path they'd chosen for Amanda. The safe path. The stable path. I left dinner early that night. Started leaving all dinners early. Year 1 was brutal. Dev and I lived on ramen and hope. We built our first prototype in 4 months. A system that could analyze data flow patterns and predict system failures up to 6 hours in advance. We tested it on small companies. It worked. Not perfectly, but it worked. We got our first client in month 7. A mid-sized e-commerce company tired of their website crashing during sales. We charged them $5,000 a month. They agreed. 3 months later they renewed. Doubled their contract to $10,000. Asked if we could handle their payment processing systems too. We hired our first employee, then our second. At Thanksgiving, Dad asked, "So, are you making money yet?" "We're covering expenses," I said. Which was true. Revenue, $45,000. Expenses, $44,000. Profit, $1,000. "That's not making money," he said. "That's breaking even." "It's progress," I said. Amanda got promoted, Mom said. Senior consultant. $95,000 salary. She's closing on a condo next month. "That's great," I said. And I meant it. Amanda worked hard. She deserved her success. "When will you buy a house?" Mom asked. "When I'm ready," I said. "You're 27. Your sister bought at 26. I stopped going to Thanksgiving after that. Year 2 brought series of funding. $3 million from a venture capital firm in Silicon Valley. They believed in our technology. Believed in our vision. Saw what my parents couldn't. We were solving a real problem for real companies. We hired 15 more employees. Moved into actual office space. Launched DataStream AI 2.0 with advanced predictive analytics that could forecast system failures up to 48 hours in advance. Our client list grew. 20 companies. Then 40. Then 60. Revenue hit $2.4 million that year. At Christmas, I tried to explain to my parents what we'd accomplished. "We raised $3 million in venture funding," I said. "But that's not your money," Dad said. "That's investor money. What are you making?" "My salary is $75,000 now." Mom frowned. "Amanda makes $105,000. Plus bonus." "Good for Amanda," I said. "She's younger than you and making more money," Dad said. "Do you see the problem?" I saw the problem. It just wasn't the one they thought it was. Year 3. Year 4. Year 5. We grew. Slowly. Then faster. Series B, $12 million. 65 employees. Series C, $35 million. 114 employees. We signed contracts with 3 Fortune 500 companies. Our technology was preventing an average of 47 major system failures per client per year, saving them millions in downtime and lost revenue. But I stopped talking to my parents about work. What was the point? Every conversation was the same. "When are you going to get a real job?" "This is a real job, Mom. I mean stable. With benefits. Amanda's director now. $140,000. She's talking about buying a house in Palo Alto. That's wonderful. She's 31. You're 32. You're still renting." I was renting a 1-bedroom apartment in Mission District for $3,200 a month. I could have bought a house. I could have bought 3 houses. But I was pouring everything back into the company. Every dollar. Every resource. Every ounce of energy. Because we were building something that mattered. Companies using DataStream AI reported 89% fewer critical system failures. 94% reduction in unplanned downtime. $2.7 million in average annual savings. But my parents didn't want to hear statistics. They wanted to hear that I had a 401k match and a corner office at an established company. So I stopped telling them anything. Year 6 brought the breakthrough. Amazon approached us. They wanted to integrate our technology into AWS. All of AWS. Every server. Every system. Every client. The contract was worth $47 million over 3 years. We hired 73 more employees. Moved into new offices downtown. 19th floor. Views of the Bay. Series D. $120 million. Valuation. $890 million. I was worth approximately $312 million on paper. Between my founder's equity and vested stock. At 33 years old. But I didn't tell my parents. What would I say? "Remember that waste of time you've been complaining about for 6 years? It's worth $890 million now." They wouldn't believe me. Or worse, they would believe me and suddenly everything would change. The years of disappointment and disapproval would transform into pride. Not because I'd stayed true to my vision. But because I'd finally achieved something they could understand. Money. So I stayed quiet. Amanda called me in October. "Hey, are you coming to Mom's birthday dinner?" "I don't know," I said. "Marcus, you haven't been to a family thing in 2 years." "I've been busy." That's what you always say. What are you so busy with? Work. That startup is still going? Still going. Like it was a car on fumes. A dying patient on life support. Yeah, I said. Still going. Mom thinks you're avoiding us. I am avoiding you. Silence. Then, why? Because I'm tired, Amanda. I'm tired of defending my choices. Tired of the concerned looks. Tired of being compared to you like I'm failing some test I didn't sign up for. We just want you to be happy. I am happy, I said. I'm building something incredible. Something that matters. But none of you can see it because it doesn't fit your definition of success. That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time anyone asked me about my company? Really asked? Not, when are you going to get a stable job? But, tell me what you're working on. When? She didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said. I didn't go to the birthday dinner. Year 7 and 8 blurred together. We expanded internationally. Offices in London, Berlin, Singapore. Our client list included 47 Fortune 500 companies. Revenue hit $180 million annually. We were approached by acquisition suitors. Microsoft offered $1.2 billion. We turned them down. This wasn't about an exit. This was about building something that lasted. I bought a house in Pacific Heights. 4 bedrooms. View of the Golden Gate Bridge. Paid cash. $4.7 million. I didn't tell my parents. What I did tell them in the rare phone calls that happened every few months. I'm fine. Work is good. Yes, still at the startup. Amanda got married. I went to the wedding. Stayed for 2 hours. Left before dinner. At the reception, an aunt cornered me. Your mother is so worried about you. I'm okay, I said. But you're not married. You don't own a home. You're still working at that computer thing. I did own a home. A $4.7 million home. I just didn't mention it. The computer thing is going well, I said. Well enough to settle down? Your sister has stability. A husband. A future. What do you have? I had 189 employees who depended on me. I had technology that was revolutionizing enterprise data management. I had a company worth nearly $900 million. But I said, I have a job I believe in. She looked at me with pity. I left early. The invitation arrived in January. Bay Area Business Excellence Awards. Annual gala honoring outstanding companies and entrepreneurs in the region. Black tie. 400 guests. Dinner and ceremony. My assistant forwarded it. You're nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year. The ceremony is February 14th. Who else is nominated? I asked. 4 others. CEO of a biotech startup. Founder of a clean energy company. 2 others in fintech. Do we know who's winning? It's confidential until the event. But. She smiled. I have a good feeling. So did I. We'd had an exceptional year. The AWS contract. The international expansion. The revenue numbers that made VCs drool. But winning wasn't the point. I'd stopped caring about external validation years ago. My work spoke for itself. So, it would be nice to be recognized. Confirm attendance, I said. +1. I'll bring Dev. She nodded and left. I stared at the invitation. The venue was the Fairmont Hotel. Grand ballroom. Catered by. I looked at the fine print. Elite Events Catering. My mother's company. My mother had started her catering business 12 years ago. Small events at first. Birthday parties. Anniversary dinners. Gradually building to corporate events. Weddings. Conferences. He was good at it. Professional. Reliable. Her company employed 15 people. Revenue around $800,000 annually. Decent for a small catering operation. She'd never catered an event I attended. Our worlds didn't overlap. I went to tech conferences and investor meetings. She worked society weddings and corporate dinners. But the Business Excellence Awards was big enough to need professional catering. And apparently they'd hired Elite Events. I thought about calling her. Warning her. But what would I say? Hi Mom, I'm nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year at an event you're catering. Remember that startup you've been calling a waste of time for 8 years? Turns out it's worth $890 million. Surprise. Well, better to let the night speak for itself. February 14th arrived cold and clear. I put on my tuxedo. Tom Ford. Perfectly tailored. The kind of tux that whispered money without shouting it. Dev picked me up in an Uber. He was wearing a tux too. We looked like we belonged in a Bond film. Nervous? He asked. Should I be? Your mom's working the event. I know. Are you going to tell her beforehand? No. He nodded. Bold choice. It's not bold. It's just, I'm done explaining myself. If I win, she'll see. If I don't win, nothing changes. And if you win? Then maybe she'll finally understand. We arrived at the Fairmont at 6:30 p.m. The grand ballroom was spectacular. Crystal chandeliers. Round tables with white linens. Each table seated 10. Name cards at every place setting. I found my table. Table 7. Front section. Good sign. Dev and I sat. The other seats filled quickly. A biotech CEO. A venture capitalist. A journalist from TechCrunch. A professor from Berkeley. An investor I'd met at a conference 3 years ago. They all knew who I was. Marcus Chin. DataStream AI, right? Read about your AWS contract. Incredible work. You're going to win tonight. I'd bet money on it. I smiled. Shook hands. Made small talk. At 6:50 I saw her. My mother. Wearing the black and white uniform of Elite Events Catering. Hair pulled back. Professional. Efficient. She was directing her staff near the kitchen entrance. Pointing to tables. Checking clipboards. She hadn't seen me yet. I watched her move through the room. She approached table 12. Started setting down appetizer plates. Smoked salmon. Arugula. Lemon wedges. Table 12 was 3 tables away from mine. Close enough that I could see her clearly. Far enough that she hadn't noticed me. The lights dimmed slightly. The MC took the stage. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bay Area Business Excellence Awards. We have an exciting evening ahead. Dinner will be served shortly, followed by our awards ceremony. We're honoring some of the region's most innovative companies and leaders tonight. Applause rippled through the room. The first course was served. I ate mechanically. Salmon. Salad. Bread. My mother moved from table to table. Professional. Invisible. That was the art of good catering. Being present without being noticed. At 7:45, dinner plates were cleared. Dessert arrived. Chocolate mousse. Raspberry garnish. At 8 o'clock the awards began. Our first award tonight is for innovation in biotechnology. A woman from table 3 won. She gave a speech. Thanked her team. Sat down. Our next award is for sustainable business practices. The Clean Energy CEO won. Another speech. More applause. My mother was near table 12. Refilling water glasses. And now, the MC said, we come to our most prestigious honor. The Bay Area Entrepreneur of the Year Award. This award recognizes an individual who has demonstrated exceptional vision, leadership, and impact in building a business that not only achieves financial success but also drives innovation and creates meaningful change. My heart was pounding. This year's nominees represent the best of Bay Area entrepreneurship. From biotech to fintech to artificial intelligence, these leaders are shaping the future of their industries. He listed the 5 nominees. My name was fourth. Marcus Chin, founder and CEO of DataStream AI, a revolutionary data analytics company that has transformed how enterprises manage and predict system performance. Polite applause. My table clapped enthusiastically. I looked at table 12. My mother was pouring water for a woman in a red dress. She hadn't heard my name. Or if she had, she didn't connect it to her son. And the winner is... The MC opened an envelope. Paused dramatically. Marcus Chin, DataStream AI. The room erupted in applause. I stood. Smoothed my jacket. Started walking toward the stage. As I passed table 12 I saw her. My mother. Holding a water pitcher. Staring at the stage where the MC was reading my name again. Then she looked down. Saw me walking past her table. Our eyes met. Her face went completely white. Her mouth opened. The water pitcher tilted in her hand. Then she looked back at the stage where my photo had appeared on the massive screen behind the podium. Marcus Chin, CEO and founder, DataStream AI. Company valuation, $890 million. The pitcher slipped from her hand. It fell in slow motion. Hit the floor. Shattered. Water and glass exploded across the carpet. The woman in the red dress jumped up, her dress soaked. Other guests turned to look. My mother stood frozen, staring at the broken glass at her feet. I kept walking. Up the stairs. Onto the stage. The MC shook my hand. Gave me the award. A crystal sculpture. Heavy. Elegant. Congratulations, Marcus. Would you like to say a few words? I took the microphone. Looked out at 400 faces. And one face in particular. My mother. Still standing by table 12. Her colleagues were cleaning up the broken glass around her. She wasn't moving. I began speaking. Thank you. 8 years ago, I started DataStream AI with my co-founder Dev Sharma in a garage in Palo Alto. We had $30,000 in savings, no salary, no health insurance, and an idea that most people thought was crazy. Light laughter from the audience. We were told to get real jobs. Stable jobs. Jobs with benefits and 401 Burmese chots and predictable futures. And for a long time I wondered if they were right. If we were wasting our time. If stability was the smarter choice. I paused. But we believed in what we were building. We believed that data doesn't have to be reactive. That companies shouldn't wait for systems to crash before fixing them. That prediction is better than response. I looked at my mother. She was crying. Today, DataStream AI serves 47 Fortune 500 companies. We've prevented over 8,000 critical system failures. We've saved our clients an estimated $340 million in downtime costs. We employ 189 people across 4 countries. And we're just getting started. Applause. This award isn't just mine. It belongs to every person who believed in this vision when it was just 2 guys in a garage. To every employee who took a chance on a startup when they could have chosen safety. To every client who trusted us with their systems. To my co-founder Dev, who's been with me since day one. I held up the award. And to everyone who ever doubted us, thank you. You made us work harder. The room stood. Standing ovation. I walked off stage. Back to my table. Set the award down. Dev hugged me. That was perfect. The other guests at my table congratulated me. Shook my hand. Asked for business cards. I looked toward table 12. My mother was gone. I found her in the kitchen corridor 20 minutes later. She was sitting on a metal folding chair. Still crying. One of her employees stood nearby looking concerned. Mrs. Chin? Are you okay? I'm fine, she said. Just give me a minute. The employee saw me approaching. Sir, this area is for catering staff. It's okay, I said. She's my mother. The employee's eyes widened. She looked at my mother. Then at me. Then quickly walked away. I sat on the folding chair next to her. For a long moment neither of us spoke. Finally she whispered, $890 million. Yes. 8 years. Yes. And you never told us. No. She turned to look at me. Her makeup was running. She looked older than I remembered. Tired. Why? She asked. Why didn't you tell us? I took a breath. Because it wouldn't have mattered. Not at first. When we were in the garage with $30,000, if I'd told you we were going to build a billion-dollar company, you wouldn't have believed me. You would have thought I was delusional. When we raised our first $3 million, you would have said it was investor money, not real money. When we hit $10 million in revenue, you would have said we weren't profitable yet. There was always going to be a reason it wasn't good enough. So I stopped trying to prove myself to you. That's not fair, she said. Isn't it? Mom, you spent 8 years telling me to get a real job. 8 years comparing me to Amanda. 8 years treating my company like a hobby I needed to outgrow. Because we didn't understand. You didn't try to understand, I said quietly. That's the difference. You never asked what we were building. You never asked to see the office. You never asked about our clients or our technology or why I believed in it so much. You just decided it was a waste of time and spent 8 years waiting for me to admit you were right. He was crying harder now. We were worried about you. I know. But your worry looked like judgment. Your concern looked like disappointment. And after a while I just stopped coming around because it hurt less than constantly feeling like I was failing you. You were never failing us, she whispered. That's not how it felt. We sat in silence. In the ballroom, the ceremony continued. Another award. More applause. I'm sorry, she finally said. I'm so sorry, Marcus. We were wrong. About everything. About the startup. About your choices. About. She gestured toward the ballroom. All of this. You built something incredible and we couldn't see it. You couldn't see it because you weren't looking, I said. You'd already decided what success looked like and I didn't fit that picture. What can I do? She asked. How do I fix this? I thought about that. About the 8 years of disappointment. The missed dinners. The phone calls I'd stopped answering. The distance that had grown between us. You can start by actually asking about my life, I said. Not comparing it to Amanda's. Not worrying about stability. Just asking, what am I working on? What are my goals? What makes me excited about the future? You can start by being curious about who I actually am instead of disappointed about who I'm not. She nodded. I can do that. And you can stop thinking there's only one path to success. Amanda's path is valid. Mine is too. They're different. That doesn't make either one wrong. You're right. She wiped her eyes. Will you come to dinner? Next Sunday? Can we start over? I hesitated. 8 years of hurt didn't dissolve in one conversation. But she was my mother. And she was trying. Hey, I said. Sunday. He hugged me. Tight. The kind of hug I hadn't gotten in years. When she pulled back, she said, I'm proud of you. I should have said that 8 years ago. I'm saying it now. I'm so incredibly proud of you. Thank you, I said. Can I? She hesitated. Can I see your office sometime? Your company? I want to understand what you built. I'd like that, I said. Sunday dinner was awkward. I arrived at 5 p.m. Mom, Dad, and Amanda were already there. Amanda hugged me at the door. Congratulations on the award. I saw the video online. Your speech was amazing. Thanks. Dad shook my hand. Formal. Uncomfortable. We need to talk. We sat in the living room. The same living room where 8 years ago they told me I was making a mistake. Dad spoke first. Your mother told me what happened at the gala. About DataStream AI. About the valuation. He paused. I looked up your company. Read some articles. You've been featured in Forbes, TechCrunch, The Wall Street Journal. A few times, I said. Why didn't you tell us? Same question Mom had asked. Different tone. Not hurt. Confused. Because you weren't listening, I said simply. And by the time you might have listened, I didn't feel like sharing anymore. That's fair, he said quietly. We weren't listening. We had an idea of what your life should look like, and when it didn't match that idea, we assumed you were struggling. We were wrong. Yes, I said. You were. Amanda spoke up. For what it's worth, I never thought you were failing. I just didn't know how to stand up to them when they were so worried about you. I looked at my sister. She'd always been caught in the middle. The golden child who never asked for the comparison. I know, I said. I don't blame you. Mom brought out dinner. Pot roast. Mashed potatoes. The meal she'd made every Sunday for 20 years. We ate mostly in silence. Then Dad said, tell us about DataStream. Really tell us. What does your company do? So I did. I told them about predictive analytics. About machine learning algorithms that could see patterns humans missed. About the AWS contract. The international expansion. The lives we'd indirectly saved by preventing critical system failures in hospitals, power grids, and financial systems. I told them about our team. The brilliant engineers from MIT, Stanford, Berkeley. The sales team that had signed 47 Fortune 500 contracts. The customer success managers who worked around the clock to make sure our technology delivered. I told them about the future. The product launches planned for next year. The industries we were expanding into. The potential IPO in 18 months. They listened. Actually listened. When I finished, Dad said, that's incredible, son. I wish we'd known. I wish you'd asked, I said. We're asking now, Mom said. Better late than never? I smiled. A small smile. But real. Yeah, I said. Better late than never. 3 months later, I invited them to the office. All three of them. Mom, Dad, Amanda. They arrived at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. I met them in the lobby. 19th floor, I said as we entered the elevator. The doors opened to the DataStream AI reception area. Glass walls. Modern furniture. Our logo etched in brushed steel. "Welcome to DataStream," the receptionist said. "Mr. Chin, your guests are here." "Thanks, Maria." I gave them the tour. The open workspace where 127 engineers wrote code. The conference rooms named after computer science pioneers. Turing. Lovelace. Popper. The kitchen with free food and coffee. The game room. The meditation space. We stopped at my office. Corner office. View of the bay. "This is where you work?" Mom asked. "Most days," I said. "When I'm not in meetings." She walked to the window. Looked out at San Francisco. "It's beautiful." "It is." I showed them the war room where we monitored client systems in real time. Screens everywhere. Engineers watching data streams from 200 companies across 6 continents. Every one of those screens represents a company trusting us with their critical systems, I explained. If we fail, they fail. That's the responsibility we carry. Dad stared at the screens. "This is remarkable, Marcus." "Thank you." We ended the tour in the conference room where I'd held hundreds of meetings with clients, investors, and partners. "Any questions?" I asked. Amanda raised her hand. "Are you happy?" Of all the questions I'd expected, that wasn't one of them. "Yeah," I said. "I am. This work matters to me. These people matter to me. Every day we're solving problems that make the world work a little better. That's worth more than any salary or title." "That's all we ever wanted for you," Mom said. "To be happy. We just got confused about what that looked like." "I know," I said. Dad stood. Walked over to me. Extended his hand. I shook it. "I'm sorry," he said. "For doubting you. For not believing in this. You proved us wrong in the best possible way." "I wasn't trying to prove you wrong," I said. "I was trying to prove myself right." "You did," he said. "You absolutely did." 6 months later, DataStream AI went public. IPO day. Nasdaq. Opening price. $48 per share. Closing price. $71. Market cap. $4.2 billion. My family flew to New York for the ceremony. I gave them VIP badges. They stood with me on the trading floor. When I rang the opening bell, they cheered louder than anyone. Afterward, a journalist approached. "Mr. Chin, what does this moment mean to you?" I looked at my family. At my parents who'd spent 8 years worrying I was wasting my life. At my sister who'd been caught between supporting me and supporting them. "It means everything I believed in was real," I said. "It means the risk was worth it. It means trusting yourself when no one else does can lead to something extraordinary." Any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs? I thought about the garage, the ramen, the doubt, the years of building something while everyone told me to stop. Build what matters to you, I said. Not what looks safe to other people. Not what fits someone else's definition of success. Build what you believe in. And if people doubt you, let them. Their doubt doesn't define your reality. The interview ended. We went to dinner at a restaurant in Manhattan. Expensive. Celebratory. Dad raised his glass. To Marcus. Who knew what he was doing all along even when we couldn't see it. To Marcus, everyone echoed. We clinked glasses. Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. I'm so proud of you. I know, Mom. No, she said. I mean, I'm proud of who you are. Not just what you built. You stayed true to yourself even when it was hard. Even when we made it harder. That takes courage. Thank you, I said quietly. Amanda smiled. For the record, I always knew you'd do something amazing. I just didn't know it would be this amazing. I laughed. Neither did I. We ate. We talked. We celebrated. And for the first time in 8 years, I felt like my family finally saw me. Not as a failure who needed saving. Not as a cautionary tale about risk and instability. But as someone who'd built something real. Something lasting. Something that mattered. 8 years of doubt. 8 years of proving myself. Worth every single day.